G&G units for Gorilla, and Bucky a bitch that broke nigga. Got rid of that nigga, got
Why y'all
Gorilla.
mad? Go 50 Cent post me.
The unit, we don't fit no nigga. These niggas ain't touching no figures. Won't war, it costs money, so go figure. What war? I did war with no killers. This rap shit's a joke, I got no filter. That bitch, she a vibe, my bro hit her. She box, but a box ain't no winner. Hit once and I'm done, I'm no kisser. We the biggest, it don't get no bigger. The G&G units for Gorilla, and Bucky a bitch that broke nigga. Got rid of that nigga, got Gorilla. The unit, we don't fear no nigga. It's the unit, bitch. It's G-Unit. It's G-Unit, bitch. It's G-Unit. You'll die trying to get rich. No, don't do it. You not like me, my nigga. You don't move shit. They said murder been silent, that's how we play. Every move ain't loud, that's how the G's play. Make a movie, there won't be no replay. We take turns on your niggas, we run relays. Cross that line, we gon' slide right where he stay. And we spinning all night like a DJ. We make hits consistently, no leeway. My Philly niggas keep chops, we make cheesesteaks. What's beef? The G&G units for Gorilla, Bucky a bitch that broke nigga. Got rid of that nigga, got Gorilla. The unit, we don't fit no nigga. It's the unit, bitch. G-Unit. It's G-Unit, bitch. G-Unit. You die trying to get rich, so don't do it. You not like me, my nigga. You don't move shit. The almighty unit.
They not gonna like you.
I know.
Telling the truth, they trying to trick me out position. And jumping out the scoop, trying to trick me out my chicken. Niggas gon' shoot, trying to hit the opposition. Now here to settle conflict, we ain't with no propositions. Fuck on that. Shit, I'm a genius, but I dumb it down. Stupid keep guns by the penis when I run around. Niggas don't expect the rain till it's coming down. So when they start to see the storm and hear that thunder sound.
My YNs is doing quarter zips. It's nothing but a 7. When I was young, I was doing quarter bricks. Actually, quarter gram, he was taking rich quarter flicks. Pineapples on the hand, 3 1/4 whips. Nasty. That's what Duke had to be, man. I had to act.
I'm done. Bitches, they gon' sweat a nigga heavy like the sun is on. Drugs out of done a ton. Major is my youngest son. We a 1-on-1. Nigga, you a none. Me and mine to the end of time. It's a trauma bond. I say it's me and mine to the end of time. It's a trauma bond. Supposed to be a bully. I can't tell. Them wolf tickets you scrapping down show ain't sell. You dominate me, I can't see. Why use a hoe ain't.
I ignore him, but my angels, they go for him. Niggas speaking on my mama, I tell chairs, ring the alarm. Niggas pussy, probably cross his leg and fucking fold his arms. Every nigga that played.
Mino just wilded out in that VladTV interview that's going viral. And now he's saying G-Unit was never really like that. He's claiming Jimmy Henchman had them shook, and that all that tough talk was more legend than truth. In Mino's eyes, that image was all hype, all smoke, and not as real as people made it seem. So now the big question is this: is Mino really trying to say G-Unit was never built like the streets believed? Is he taking it further and saying 50 Cent became this larger-than-life tough guy people created in their heads? We're about to get into all that, so hit the like button and smash that hype button, because this gets deep fast. Mino has been making noise since he dropped The Algorithm, a track aimed at people he's been clashing with online, including 50 Cent and academics, plus a few more names on his mind. He threw in some shots, some mentions, and a few nods too, and now the conversation is heating up even more. Then Vlad asked him directly about the 50 situation, and Mino basically said, All that gangster talk around G-Unit and Fifth was straight folklore. According to him, it was a myth, not reality. He's basically saying it was all fiction, that people bought into this image and ran with it, believing something that wasn't really there. Maino is claiming he never saw anything truly gangster about Fifth, even though Fifth helped him get a deal, and that's the only side he knows. Now things are getting wild, so let's get into it, because this is heating up fast. Now let's be real for a second. Mino did have some moments, no doubt. Tracks with Swizz beats, songs like High Hater, and a few others that had buzz when they dropped. Even Vlad pointed that out. But if we're being honest, those records didn't really last like that over time. They were hot in the moment, but the longevity just wasn't there.
To me, being a lyricist, these days people have their own version of it, but to me, it's someone that could say something that you go, oh wow, I wouldn't have thought to say that myself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exceptional.
Niggas always not gave me my credit. Niggas always underestimated me, and I've always been the underestimated one. Niggas never gave me my credit for being anything. You understand? When it comes to dressing, when it comes to music, you understand? You got niggas that actually really get on the internet and argue that I don't have no hits.
No,
you got
hits.
Yeah, like just
you have hits. All the above.
But it don't even matter, right? We don't got to go into anything.
Haters.
But my point is, I've always felt like I was a slept-on artist. I always felt like I was a slept-on artist with something to talk about. Like my story is real. What I was given. Nigga, you comparing me to who? Don't compare me to nobody else. Compare me to me.
And now a lot of people don't even recognize his music catalog like that. And here's the real talk. Mino's reputation didn't come from the music alone. It really came from that DVD era when stories were circulating about street moments, chain snatching, and confrontations that had people talking heavy. That's where his name really got stamped for a lot of people. So when it comes to music, many don't even associate him with hits like that. And that's just the honest reality of how people see it. Yeah, that's just how Fifth moves, real talk. A lot of people didn't even catch that detail. When I was reacting to the Max B and Fifth situation, I brought up how Mino got that scar from Rikers, and some of y'all missed it. That cut on his face didn't just happen for no reason. That came from a situation in the barbershop while he was locked up. What people don't realize is this. Mino ended up getting cut while getting his hair done, and it was tied to earlier tension, so it turned into a get-back moment. That situation followed him, and that's where that scar comes from. So when you see it, just know there's history behind it, and it's deeper than what people think at first glance.
Well, not everyone remembers this, but 50 actually helped you out back in the day.
Yeah, and,
right?
I gave him his credit, and it's 30 interviews of me talking about that.
Including this one. Right. So
yeah, but
you guys don't have like an inherent beef, a long-term beef, or whatever else. I always thought there was a mutual respect.
Here, listen. This is why I'm so befuddled with the whole issue as it pertains to him, because if you go back and look at any interview where his name came up, I always gave him his flowers. I always gave him his credit, always gave him the grace and the respect because of what he done for me. I was going to sign to Atlantic anyway, but it was like taking long, and he made that call,
he helped out.
And it got done, right? Drink Champs, even after the beef started, I went on Drink Champs and still said that, right? So when he go do his little diss or whatever, and says, oh, Bar ripped him. Oh.
Wait. Which line are you talking about?
Yes, it's everybody didn't catch the line. So you see this shot where he says
at the barbershop.
Yeah.
That's where your face got cut.
Yeah, but
that's what he's trying to reference. Yeah.
But he referenced that, but he also referenced the guy's name.
Oh, that was his name.
Yeah.
Bar?
Yeah.
Oh.
He referenced his name. So now I'm thinking, okay, now this is personal. Now you talking street shit. And now you saying it, I don't know why niggas is saying it as if it was like a strike against my character, because it's not. We cut each other, okay?
Yeah, you cut him first, he cut you second.
I cut him first, he cut me back.
Yeah.
I cut many guys, all right? It is what it is.
How many guys did you cut?
A plethora.
Okay.
All right, and everybody knows this. But on the internet, they like to just focus on that because of this. No problem, right? So.
And that's why none of this should even surprise Mino when it comes to 50 Cent. This is how Fifth operates. He's known for being petty and strategic at the same time, so when he reacts, it's usually for a reason. You can't act shocked like this came out of nowhere, because this is literally his style. Now let's not act like this whole situation just popped up randomly. When Jimmy started speaking down on that Diddy documentary, Fifth took that personal. That tension was already building between them, and things were already going back and forth before it escalated further. Then being on that podcast and continuing the conversation added more pressure to the situation. So it's not like Fifth just wakes up and targets people for no reason. Something usually sparks it first. He reacts when he feels disrespected, and that's been his pattern for years. People keep acting confused, but it's really simple once you pay attention to how these situations start and build up. That's Southside in a nutshell right there. Straight up, no filter. Now let's break this down properly because there's layers to it. You said Jimmy and Fifth already had something going on, right? But here's the thing, Mano. You don't really know the full magnitude of what was happening between them. You don't know how it really started or what went down behind the scenes. So you stepping into that without the full picture is already risky. Now here's where it gets interesting. You like the post involving Jimmy, right? That Mel Murda post. From Fifth's perspective, that's gonna look funny. If there's tension already and he sees you showing any kind of support or alignment with someone he's not cool with, he's gonna read that as you picking a side. That's just how it goes, whether you meant it like that or not.
Now, when he does that, I'm saying, oh, he going to like street shit. And this is why now I can't even, I gave him his credit. I can't give him to him no more.
Well, from my point of view, seeing the way 50 operates, me and him have talked, but we don't have like a close relationship like I do with Yayo, right? So I'm not going to speak into his head, but from my point of view, this reminds me of when Ja Rule dropped the New York record, which was kind of his comeback record during that time, and Jadakiss and Fat Joe were on that record. Suddenly, 50's going to Jada and Fat Joe, not because he has beef with them, but because he's standing next to someone he has beef with.
Okay.
They're standing next to someone that he has beef with. So I feel like in this situation, this is where you landed. I don't have 50 don't have beef directly with Mano, but since Mano was with these dudes, like
who you got beef with?
Jim Jones.
Oh, so it's you. Fuck is he?
What do you mean?
Who he?
50? But I'm saying this is how he operates. We've seen this before.
So what?
Okay.
So
I'm not
what?
saying you should understand it.
I don't get,
that's what I think it is.
Listen, if a nigga got a problem, I don't owe no nigga nothing as far as it comes to any level of loyalty, because as far as I knew, that they little back and forth ain't nothing real. That was nothing, because I remember them cool, and they had a little workout, little banter, and that's all. This started from like a post in 2020. See, I remember them going back and forth on Instagram about working out, and then one day Capo put up a picture of Mel Murda, and I liked it. I didn't read the caption. It was Mel Murda. He from Bed-Stuy. I liked it. He locked up. I liked it. I'm saluting. 50 takes the picture of the post. This is what I'm saying. He's so sensitive, right? He take a picture of that post of me liking it and says, "Yeah, I helped this guy before, and I guess he forgot. You got to watch people and all that." And I was like,
and let's keep it real, this ain't even new behavior. I talked about this before. There was a situation where Mano showed love to a Max B track with French Montana, even though he's supposed to be close with Jim Jones. And Mano himself said it clearly, whoever is Jim's enemy is my enemy. That's the code he claims to follow. So if that's the rule, you gotta stand on it fully, because the logic is simple. If your friend has an enemy, that person automatically becomes your problem too. That's loyalty. That's how it's supposed to work in that circle. And guess what? 50 Cent moves the same way with that mindset. But here's the twist. It doesn't always look like Mino sticks to that code all the way through. And that's where people start raising eyebrows, because the energy doesn't always match the words when situations get complicated. So explain this then. Why would you go and like a post about Max linking up with French Montana, knowing Jim Jones has serious issues with Max, especially after that track Pootie, where lines were crossed and things got personal? That situation was already sensitive, so tapping that like button was always going to raise questions. And here's where it gets messy. Jim might not even be paying attention to every little move, but at the same time, he had an issue with Dave East just for showing up at Max B's event. So now people are looking like, wait, did anyone check Mino for liking that Max and French situation? Because if Max is really considered an opponent, then why is that energy not consistent across the board? That's the part that's confusing everybody. If someone is labeled as your friend's opponent, then showing any kind of support, even something small like a like, is going to be noticed. So now, when Mino says he liked that post during a time when things were already tense with 50 Cent, it just adds more fuel to how Fifth might have interpreted everything. And you gotta understand, this is how Fifth, Southside, and that whole Queens mindset moves. They read into everything. A small action can turn into a big statement real fast. So from his perspective, that probably looked funny, even if that wasn't the intention. I'm just being real about it. In that environment, people move off loyalty and patterns. If I'm having issues with someone and I see you interacting with them in any way, I'm gonna question it too. That's just how it goes, and that's why this whole situation escalated the way it did. So what type of time are you really on right now? Because where I'm from, that kind of move gets called being mixie, straight up. Like, are you trying to play both sides at the same time? You rocking with him and then turning around trying to rock over here too? Nah, that's not how that works in these situations. Once people see that kind of behavior, they start looking at you different. They start questioning your loyalty and wondering what your real stance is. Now listen, I'm not calling Mino anything crazy, I never said that, but let's be honest, the move itself looks wild and raises eyebrows. It just doesn't sit right when you break it down. Now here's where things get even more confusing. You're saying you never believed in 50 Cent being like that, never respected that side at all? Come on now, you've been around long enough to know the stories. Just like everybody else has heard them, acting like none of that ever meant anything just doesn't sound believable. But at the same time, you turn around and give that same respect to Jim Jones. So now people are like, hold on, how does that add up? You don't believe one side, but you fully believe the other? That's where the confusion kicks in heavy, because the logic just isn't lining up the way it should.
What? I was confused. I didn't understand. So I went back and then I read the caption. I said, oh shit, these niggas going back and forth. So that I goes and puts up the post and say, yo, you overthinking, bro. Like I could never forget about what you talking about. I can never forget about that. And I left it like that. And I don't think we ever really was the same. And this is a nigga that I felt like we had a decent a relationship, right? I respect him on his impact in the game, him being an artist that has impacted the game, even his business sense or whatever, right? And definitely respected what he done. But I never knew nothing gangster about him. I didn't never have that respect for him, and I think that maybe because I was showing so much grace and giving him his flowers for so long, I think that kind of got devalued, and maybe thought that. Did you think that I had extra respect on some gangster shit? Because I never did. I never believed that. I had no reason to.
We got to keep it consistent. Either you apply that same energy across the board, or people are going to start questioning everything you're saying. Right now, it just feels off, and that's why people are calling it out and trying to make sense of it all. Nah, he's not being real here. I'm saying it straight up. This doesn't sound truthful at all. You acting like you don't know anything about that side. But come on now. You from the town. You know, just like Jim, just like Fab, just like Dave East. You've been around it, you've seen it, so acting clueless right now just doesn't add up. And yeah, you had your own moments too. You handled situations while locked up at Rikers, and people know about that. That's part of your story, no doubt. But that still doesn't erase everything else that's been going on around you and the people you're speaking on. Now let's keep it balanced and real for a second. 50 Cent and G-Unit weren't perfect either. They took losses too. Let's not act like everything was one-sided. There were situations tied to Jimmy Henchman where things escalated and moments happened that people still talk about. There were incidents involving Tony Yayo, situations connected to family homes, and retaliation that made things serious real fast.
Well, meaning what exactly? Meaning that you don't think that he did gangster activities at various points throughout his life?
No, I don't know. I have no way of knowing that.
Well,
and I don't want to make this whole interview about him, but listen, let me say this. I think he capitalized on a moment. It benefited him. What happened to him? I think two things that happened to him was probably the greatest things that ever happened. And one of those things was the fact that he got shot. Now, the fact that he got shot, well, you know, they say it was 5 times, really, he lied and not, whatever, right? All right. That justified him wearing a vest, pictures with guns. It justified the imagery. It gave it a storyline. Oh, all these old niggas trying to kill me. Everybody trying to kill me. There's a sense of danger. And then him signing Eminem amplified that. So now you got that storyline, then you got that machine. That was the perfect ingredients for success. We saluted it, we loved it. There was an underdog that came up. We was all with it, right? Anything gangster, I don't know nothing about that.
Well, that era had a lot of back and forth, and nobody walked through it untouched. So trying to paint it like one side was completely fake while ignoring everything that actually happened just doesn't tell the full story. They ended up catching Lodi Mac, and that situation turned deadly. He's gone for real. No coming back from that. That's how serious things got back then. It wasn't just talk. It escalated all the way. Meanwhile, Jimmy ended up doing heavy time. And Fifth is still outside moving around. So when you look at it, both sides took hits in different ways. So yeah, there was definitely a loss in that whole situation. No denying that.
Well, I mean, he was also a great songwriter.
The music was
there. Music was definitely there.
We can't take nothing. Listen, I'm not taking nothing from no nigga that deserved what he deserved, but I'm not gonna give extra.
Right. Well, but here's the thing, right? And this is something that really can't be disputed. And I watched this from the outside looking in. G had real serious street beef with a lot of very serious guys.
Who?
Jimmy Henchman.
They got spanked. Nigga, are you crazy? They got spanked. What is wrong with you?
What do you mean they got spanked?
Yo, Vlad, please, trust me when I'm telling you this. I don't really want to go into all this, but they got spanked. What is wrong with you? Jimmy had his way. People died. What are you talking about?
Jimmy had his way?
What are you talking about?
I mean, but calling it like one side got completely run over doesn't really tell the full story. This went on for years, back and forth. And it wasn't one-sided at all. That tension built up over time and turned into something way bigger than people expected. And let's not forget how all this really started getting deeper. Jimmy got involved with the game, and that's when things started shifting heavy. That connection played a role in Game separating from G-Unit, and that whole fallout added even more fuel to the situation. That move right there changed a lot of dynamics. At the end of the day, a lot of that situation traces back to decisions Game made during that time. Linking up in that way created a messy chain reaction that led to serious consequences. It wasn't clean, it wasn't simple, and it definitely wasn't one side just dominating the other. So when someone says 1 minute that there was no clear winner, but then turns around and says one side got completely handled, it just doesn't match up. You can't have it both ways like that. The story has to stay consistent or people are gonna call it out fast. You just said Jimmy handled them, but now look at the reality. Jimmy is doing life right now, locked away for good. So if we're being technical, how is that a win? He's not out here living, not moving, not free. So how do you call that victory in any way? Now don't get it twisted. Nobody is denying Jimmy's reputation in New York. He had a serious name and people knew what time it was with him. His presence was felt and his name carried weight for a long time. That part is real, no question about it. But here's the contradiction that's throwing people off. You're saying he ran over them, but at the same time saying there was no clear winner. That doesn't add up. Either one side dominated or it was a back and forth situation with losses on both sides. You can't push both narratives at once. And yes, G-Unit took losses too. Lodi Mac, rest in peace. That situation was serious, but that's how those environments go. Nobody walks through untouched. There's always consequences, always something that hits both sides at some point.
Yayo's house got shot up over that situation. I understand that, but ultimately...
Think about what you're saying and think about what happened.
Meaning what? That Jimmy's doing double life?
Listen, in that situation, that situation, they wasn't a victor in that situation, brother.
Right.
Okay, so it...
But I feel like these guys stood there.
Now here's the next part that raises eyebrows. You're saying you don't believe any of that extra gangster image around 50 Cent and the unit, right? So by that same logic, are people supposed to question everything tied to you and your own circle too? Because once you open that door, it applies everywhere. You can't dismiss one side completely and expect your side not to be questioned the same way. That's where things start getting shaky and people begin looking at everything differently. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Rod Diggs, who is he cool with? Uncle Murda. And who is Uncle Murda signed to? 50 Cent and G-Unit. So how does that all connect? That's where things start looking real interesting. Because let's not forget, Rod Diggs had a serious reputation. People knew what time it was with him. There were stories about tensions with Jim Jones, situations that almost went left, and moments that could have ended very differently. That history is out there, and people who know, and here's the wild part. There was never any real issue between Mino and Rod Diggs like that. No major problems, no real back and forth. That's what makes this whole situation even more confusing when you line everything up and look at who was connected to who. Rod Diggs ended up serving life and is locked up in a federal supermax facility out in Colorado.
The ground.
Who stood what ground?
I think G-Unit stood their ground.
You don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Okay.
And it's easy to go for with the folklore. What else? Who else?
World.
You don't even know World. World is my childhood friend.
Okay.
Listen, this is things. He wasn't.
They didn't have beef with World?
Listen, that wasn't no.
The shooting that happened after Hot 97?
Listen, this is when I don't even want to get into it.
Okay.
One incident happened, right? You think you really into it with somebody with one incident?
Suge Knight.
Yo, bro,
The stabbing incident at the Vibe Awards.
Yo, listen, look, all I'm saying is I don't have no reason to believe the extra gangster shit. You believe whatever you want to believe. I ain't.
And his name still rings loud when people talk about that era. His influence even connects to other figures people know. So this whole web of relationships is deeper than it looks on the surface. So when you really break it all down, it's hard to sit here and act like G-Unit was never on that type of timing. Even Ice-T once pointed out that Fifth stood out in a different way for a reason. That didn't come from nowhere. That came from how he moved and what he represented at that time. And that's why this whole debate is blowing up right now. People are split. Some are rocking with Mino's take. Others are saying, nah, that doesn't line up with what we've seen over the years.
But we're talking about actual incidents. We saw the video at the Vibe Awards, right?
What happened at the Vibe Awards?
The guy that attacked them ended up getting stabbed.
Attacked who?
Attacked Dr. Dre.
Who
was with them?
What they had that? Yo, bro.
They were there with Dr. Dre.
Yo, bro, leave me.
They were signed to Dr. Dre.
Yo, bro, listen to me. I'm not gonna debate you on another man. All I'm speaking from my perspective, and it is what it is. Like, I don't have no reason to believe nothing extra. Those incidents that you're talking about, whatever. You know what I'm saying? People lost a lot. Like, look, it don't even matter to me, right? Look, like I said, you believe what you want to believe. I know truth. I think it's all a character act. Whatever, man.
It is what it is. If you and 50 got on the phone today,
Yeah.
you think you could have a civilized?
I don't see why not.
Yeah,
I don't,
civilized conversation.
I don't listen.
Which is something I hope for, by the way.
It don't even matter to me though. But the thing is this though. I don't care to do it because I don't want a nigga to confuse anything, because you already said things that I feel like now I need to stand on. Oh, you don't want smoke. You want to be cool. I don't. What the fuck?
Wait, who said that?
This is what he said. He said, I want to be cool. Listen, yo, we from the same age bracket, my nigga. I've been outside a long time, a very long time.
So now it turns into a bigger question about who was really like that and who wasn't. But now I gotta throw it to y'all. How do you see it? Do you agree with Mino, or do you think he's reaching with this take? Who really had the stronger reputation and whose story actually holds up when you look at everything? Make sure you tap in right now. Subscribe to Dripzine, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this video with somebody who needs to see this. And if you really rock with the content, hit that hype button and help a small creator grow. I appreciate every single one of y'all for real.